What's up, boss? You believe that? Hold on. Do you believe that?
It's finally here. It's finally here, y'all. We're finally at spring practice. We can stop all the speculation. We got a lot to talk about today. It's going to be a little bit shorter of a live stream. I got to get out of here pretty quickly this evening. So y'all be sure, hit up that comment section really quick. We're gonna get this thing partying now. First off, want to give a shout out again to all the fake Twitter insiders, all the fake people that talk to somebody's second cousin that feels like they know something, that's sliding in everybody's DM saying that they know what's going on at the University of Colorado. Yeah, eat it. Cormani McClain at practice. So shout out to all the fake insiders out there. If there's one thing that pisses me off in this world, it's that every little person that feels like they're a little journalist on Twitter just because they feel like they heard something second, third, fourth hand. Stop it. Just be a fan, man. Just be a fan. So, hey, let's go ahead and get into the main topic, though. Hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. And let's get to the main thing. Phil Loadholt. Phil Loadholt spoke today. This was awesome. And I've linked it in the description of this video, y'all. And he talked about how this is what he said to describe the line. We're going to be aggressive and good communicators. That's the first thing that came out of this guy's mouth. It isn't, we got to try to come together as a line, or, we got to be physical on the point of attack, anything like that. No, you know what he said? He said, we got to be aggressive and we got to be really good communicators. We got to be good with communication. We got to communicate. Thank God. And so that's why now, last year we had Bill. None of my guys know their assignments, O'Boyle. I've shown it on the film. It's clear that our offensive line did not know how to communicate this past year, right? But now we got Phil. All my guys will know their assignments, Loadholt. That's what I'm calling him this year. Coach Phil, all my guys will know their assignments, Loadholt. That's beautiful. And so, guys, that is my big takeaway from day one. Of course, I will break down some other things that we saw today, that we heard of today. And I'll bring up some questions that maybe you guys can help me investigate with, because unlike some people that want to say, Dave, I know more people at CU than you do. It's like one of these fake Twitter journalists told me that today. I said, well, I don't care, dude. I just do this channel. I'm not trying to report as an insider. I'm not trying to do that thing. So, Kenobi TR, can Loadholt fix Jada? No. I'm not going to bullshit you like that. But who's going to fix Jada? Jada himself. Even Rawhide said that he's noticed that he feels like he shed a lot of bad weight. And so maybe we see a little bit looser of a Jada this year. But I'm hoping that this line is in a position to where we don't have to see him on the field outside of maybe protecting for place kicking on special teams, right? Right? That is my hope, okay? Legend. So good to see you, man. Again, thank you so much for the support. Great interviews today. I have Coach Loadholt's interview, of course, linked in the description. But if you go to Buff Stampede, you can get Adam Munster Tigers pressers that show Coach Dancy. That was really great. As well as who do we have? Lajohntay Wester and Preston Hodge, two other guys that really seemed to impress day one. Brian Howell and Adam Munster Tiger talked today about how Lajohntay's quickness, his burst, his speed is really starting to. I mean, people just saw the difference very quickly. Now, I don't think Jimmy Horn is out there right now because he's battling an injury, so I hope he's okay. Again, Cormani McClain was at practice today, but I think he might be dealing with some sort of injury, something like that. So again, we can put all that, ridiculous news to bed. Hashtag Dylan Raiola to Colorado, right? So yeah, overall, let's get back to the offensive line. I like, again, that he emphasized communication, emphasized aggression. And so, again, that's one of the best cases right now for Khalil Benson earning himself right now. I would assume that starting right tackle spot is, hey, are you going to be intense on every single snap? Are you going to bring it? We need some of that nasty. Okay. I think it's very clear that we're going to get that in the guard play. I think Jordan Seaton, I think that he'll have some ups and downs. And but I think overall you're going to see him improve throughout the year. So guys, my hope with Jordan Seaton, with him being our big high school blue chip guy that we're bringing in this year, don't be doing all that ridiculous BS that y'all did with Cormani last year. Like, give this guy some leash. He's going to be a true freshman out there playing a significant amount. Let's show some patience, guys. Okay. Yes, K Vizzy. Loadholt also says he wants to get guys in Boulder. He wants to get local guys out here in Colorado with Boulder. I imagine if he hasn't had a conversation yet, he'll have one with Matt McChesney, who's working with a lot of these guys that right now are going out to Nebraska. We can't allow that to happen here in the future. So that's interesting. Now, I did also, and this is where I need your help, guys, is doing a little bit of investigation, because Preston Hodge, somebody tagged me in this on Twitter in his presser. He said, hey, we're going to be playing a lot of man. That's what we did at Liberty. But then it got me thinking, okay, what is the rest of the defense going to look like? What is this defensive front going to look like if Quincy Wiggins is playing the 3 and 5 tech? Okay, now you guys might wonder, what is the 3 and 5 tech? Let me go ahead and bring this up. Defensive line techniques. And we can just take a look at this image right here, so we're all on the same page. Okay. This one looks pretty good. All right, there we go. 1 second. And Quincy Wiggins, again, I think he's around 6'5", 265 pounds or so. I thought that this was kind of interesting. Okay. So the 3 and 5 technique, again, we'll see him, Quincy Wiggins, line up over here against the tackle, and then also inside between the tackle and the guard. Okay. So that makes me think that we're probably going to have, I just don't know. I guess we could play this a couple different ways. But yeah, this is where I need your guys' help with, because I noticed there was a clip and I was trying to take a look at it on Well Off of where these guys were lined up. I noticed that Shane Cokes, 99, okay, was lined up at like this 1 tech or like a two interior technique there in one of these defensive alignments. And I thought that we were moving him back out to like a defensive end position. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, guys, is like, how are we going to stack this front on the line? That's what I need a little bit of help with, because I don't think you want I don't think you want somebody like Quincy Wiggins being one of your main 2 interior guys. Say if we're going to play like 2 defensive tackles, okay? I don't want that. But hey, if he's going to play like hand in the ground defensive end here, the 5 tech, I think that's great. If he's going to be one of these defensive ends in a 3-4 where you got like a traditional nose tackle and then 2 defensive ends, we'll see how that goes. But I think I would like to see him more playing that 5 tech rather than the 3 tech. And so I hope that that's the case, because I don't know right now if we have big enough bodies to to throw in this interior right now. Again, I feel like we still need to upgrade where we're at on the defensive line. But let's say we run kind of like a 3-4, like 3 down linemen. We got like a like a buck linebacker and a jack linebacker. Not really sure. This is what I'm trying to figure out is I think our defensive lineman is going to look a little bit different than what we have initially thought. I don't know if you'll see us have 4 guys with their hands in the ground, but I'm hoping that's the case because let's say I feel like BJ Green, he's best playing that 5 tech. Okay. That's where I feel like he's his best. I think we can put Chidozie Nwankwo, inside over the center at that 0 or 1. Tarian Carter, he can play that 0, that 1, that 2. Hell, he can even play the 3 tech as well. So, Amari McNeil, I think he's kind of better at that 3 tech as well. And then you got your more outside linebacker edge guys like Sam Okunloa out there. And Keaton Wade, I guess, is going to be playing inside linebacker now, which is great because he will be by far our biggest inside linebacker. What is he, like 6'4" or 6'3", 245 pounds? So if we are going to do like a 3-man in the ground front, we better have some big linebackers that are ready to get in there and hit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm interested to know your thoughts on this. Peter, they said David Connor's not listed on the spring roster along with Demoy Kennedy. I haven't seen that. I'll have to look into that. Any guys, y'all see that as well? Yeah, Wester's not going to get that, but he's going to have a fine year this year. I don't really care about targets. I just love the fact that we got a really good weapon on the field. Smoke. Phil, all my guys are going to know their assignments. Loadholt. That's his nickname. Charles coming in here saying, yes, he's already connected with Matt McChesney. Coach Loadholt is. K Vizzy saying the trenches was good today. That's wonderful. You're right, Peter. Wiggins is a bit of a tweener, and I'm not exactly sure where his best position is because, again, he's played like 60 snaps in his entire football career right now. So I don't really know. I can't make a judgment on that. Okunloa, I think, is going to be on the field quite a bit, though. Chrissy coming in saying Latu at UCLA played both the 3 and 5 tech. If we develop Quincy, he has the physical attributes to play it. Okay. What size is Latu? Let me see. He is 6'5", 265. Okay. So he did play. I guess he did play inside a little bit, but I mean, he took 450 snaps this past year at outside the tackle, which would be probably that 5 or that 7 tech. So he didn't play many snaps at that 3 tech. But yeah, I think he profiles much better as a 5 tech, kind of that traditional, more so traditional defensive end than like a 3-4 defensive end. Because I feel like we just need a little bit more beef up front. You know what I'm saying? But again, guys, like, again, I want to know what y'all think about this sort of. You guys got any idea how we're going to structure this normal front? Yeah, Woods is a tweener too. We'll see what happens with him, but I guess he's sticking at linebacker. So we'll see. Byron coming in here saying, Dave, I'm concerned. We have too many undersized guys, whether it's height, length, or weight. Can BJ Green, Chidozie, Jalen Wester all start together along with 2 non-tackling cornerbacks? Who are our non-tackling cornerbacks? Half of the defense is undersized. I agree with you there. like, say you're going to have Chidozie Nwankwo out there. You're going to have Jalen Wester out there. Now, BJ Green, he actually is a bigger guy than Quincy Wiggins in terms of weight. Now, shorter guy, I think he measures 6'1" right now. Maybe he's closer to that 6 feet. So maybe a little smaller, but he's not like Elvis Dumerville small. Okay. I don't think he's like Elvis Dumerville small. So yeah, but we do feel a little bit undersized. I would think that if this defense is going to be good, it's just because, man, we're going to have linebackers that are fast, man, that they're able to dodge, offensive linemen getting their hands on them. They're going to be a little slippery, right? Deputy. Well, good news for you. Bill O'Boyle actually worked his way up to Northwestern after originally being hired at San Diego State. So we'll see how that works. Zach Seegers. Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. Y'all go subscribe to Zach on Twitter. Big time Broncos guy, too. So if you like Buffs and Broncos, go subscribe to him. He says trenches being even passable is going to trickle down to every other level of the offense and defense. Yes, you're right. That's why. Again, Zach, when I was coming out with my predictions for last year, I was just assuming, you know what? We'll have an average line on both sides of the ball. Man, I couldn't be wrong. I should have just started with we'll have the worst in college football on both of the lines. So if we can just get up to average within the conference, average at the FBS level, this team's going to feel like they're cooking with gas. Like, there will be a noticeable difference, okay? Okay? Let's see here. Now, are we talking about Camrom Silmon-Craig? Because Adam Munster Tiger did say that he was playing, I think, that free safety position, which is what I would what I was hoping they would move him to. And it seemed like they had Preston playing more of the slot today, but they said he could see time more at boundary corner as well. Cooper was always getting posted. Well, hey, Cooper's a depth guy. He's a depth guy, and I think he's also maybe making a move to safety. We've seen him with the safety group, right? JR Boxing, what's going on? The coach said it, Dave. Coach said what? Oh, right. Yeah, something tells me I like Phil. All my guys will know their assignments. Loadholt over Bill. None of my guys know their assignments. O'Boyle. Yes. My savior. My savior. Okay? Okay? That's just how it's gonna be. Okay, guys? Now, let me continue on here. Deputy Mario saying, I think we have upgraded at the tight end position. Shimon Mateer looked like that kind of NFL prototype guy, okay? When Louis Passarello, was he on the field today? I didn't even notice. He has more of that bigger size body as well. And the guy that we're bringing in from Ohio State, Sam Hart, he's like 6'5", 250, 255. We're going to have bigger tight ends. It is more important to me, though, can they block first? That's going to be so crucial. Then if they can build a little bit of a vertical game, a receiving threat in their game, that's gonna make this offense feel a lot more dynamic. But can they block? After last year, guys, we need everybody to block. Okay. Dylan Edwards is also looking a little bit bigger. I know a lot of people, including myself, thinks that Alt McCaskill will probably be that starting running back week 1. Okay. But I wouldn't rule out Dylan Edwards, on getting a 50-50 snap split with Alt McCaskill. I think that he's going to be an improved player. Again, I think sometimes we can look at these guys with what they did their freshman year and just think that that's what they are. That's not true. Man, I wish Jawan Mitchell could have stuck around, but Mr. Can't Get Right. That's just what he was. Yeah, O'Boyle was ass. Yeah, and getting rid of all the baldies, that's important. But yeah, you guys let me know. We got 244 people checking this out. Y'all be sure to hit that like. Always appreciate it. But let me know, like, what kind of defensive front do you feel like we're running here? That's what I'm trying to figure out is I think like if I had to put together my starting like 4, okay, I got like Sam Okunloa as like a outside edge guy. In the middle, I got Torian Carter and Chidozie Nwankwo, okay? And I would want to play them more kind of more of that traditional between the tackle kind of or between the guard and center type of alignment, right? And then on the other end would kind of be a more of a yeah, I guess I would put BJ Green over there or Shane Cokes. I don't know, but again, like having like Sam Okunloa on one of those edges, I don't know. I don't know if we can if we're only having like a 4-line look. I don't know if we could have somebody like Okunloa and who's another one of our outside linebackers like Kyrie Mann's out there. Like that's way too light, right? That's why I'd like to do like a 4-3 overhang, where we got 4 down linemen and then we got an outside linebacker kind of hanging on one of those sides. So we have like a 5-man look, on the line. That's what I would like. And then we could have 2 linebackers in the back. But then depending on if they got 3 wide, whatever, then we can sub one of those linebackers out for a cover guy. But Jalen Wester can cover too, depending on what the set is. So that should be kind of helpful. But only having like, one inside linebacker back there could create some problems. So again, guys, I'm kind of thinking out loud here. Shane Coke's going to look better playing like a 5 than where we had him last year. Playing at like that like 1 or 2 technique. I forget where we had him, just way inside, way undersized. We didn't have any really big guys that we could throw it there in the interior. So thinking out loud with a lot of this guys, but I do think I know there's been a little bit of slander about BJ Green out here saying that he's trash. See, that's what I don't get, guys. Our friends Buffed and Prime point out some inconsistencies in his game that he needs to improve, which is fine. But then y'all like take it a step further, just saying, man, like this guy ain't going to play. He's bad, whatever. Dude, guys, you don't get 11 and a half tackles for loss at Arizona State being trashed. Okay. The guy's got to round out his effort level. But if he's able to do that, you might see him take another step in production. I think that, again, when the play's going towards him, he's a very good player. We just need to work on his ability to run downfield when the play initially isn't working in his direction, okay? But this guy's a substantial upgrade over everything that we had at defensive end this past year. And if you look at how he graded out, again, on a terrible defense at Arizona State, he blows everybody we had on the line, out of the water, dude. He's in a different stratosphere that he could produce the way that he did with the inferior talent around him. Like he produced in a way that we were hoping that we would see from Jordan Dominic, man. And what's great is that, well, 1, I wish Jordan Dominic was still here, but 2, what's great is that I'm hoping that, and what I'm assuming is that we're going to surround BJ Green with better talent this year. Everybody's going to benefit from an increased talent level. Again, guys, it doesn't take much to increase this talent level. I mean, we were the worst defensive line in all college football last year. Larry Lightfoot, yeah, you can. I mean, Cam took his job last year. Eric, Robert Livingston will have an embarrassment of riches on the defensive side of the ball coming from the NFL. He would like to change up coverages, personnel, and disguise. Yes, but also he does not have an embarrassment of riches right now in that defensive interior. That is, again, guys, we have one guy right now that was a starter on another Power 4 football team last year, being Chidozie. But let's I'm a big fan of Chidozie. Again, I always feel like I got to preface it with you guys. But everybody else that we brought in was a rotational guy, which again is a big upgrade from what we were doing last year, bringing guys in that barely played or were redshirting at the power forward level or, played at like the G5 or FCS level, whatever, right? Okay. So again, we're bringing in more talented guys, better athletes, but, I've seen some things of people saying that this defense is elite, guys. We didn't bring in any defensive linemen that were even like third team all conference in any of these conferences. Okay. In any of these transfers. I think we're going to be improved, but I'm just wanting to dispel some of this stuff that like sometimes I feel like, again, I love the hype. I love the hype comparing Chidozie Nwankwo to Aaron Donald, but let's just wait till he at least gets third team all conference to have that conversation. Like, I know he's small, but I mean, there's Aaron Donald's one of one. Like I don't want to do that yet. We still need some more beef in this interior, I think, before Robert Livingston can do fully what he wants to do. And I'm assuming that that's going to be the target in the portal this spring, is to go after those guys on the line still. I feel like we got plenty of great players at the skill positions on offense. I think we have plenty of great players in the secondary. The interior, the lines, that's still where we're needing some more beef up front, some more talent. So again, right now we're kind of in a situation where if we're kind of running that traditional 4-down line look, we're one defensive tackle injury away from having to kick somebody like Shane Cokes back inside just for necessity. Okay. Now, if we get a few more guys, that changes things. But this defense, I think, will be substantially improved. But I think we still have ways to go before we can start talking about this defense being a top 25. Like, guys, to go from like the 128th ranked defense in the country to top 25, I don't know if I've ever seen that happen in one offseason. But guys, like, trust me, if this is even just an average defense, it's going to look elite compared to what we saw last year. Okay. So I'm not trying to rain on the parade, but I'm just trying to say, like, when we say elite, we overuse that term so much. They're elite for CU, right? We got way better guys than what we've had here in the recent past, especially. Okay. But this is not a complete team yet. This is much more complete than where it's been at, but we still got ways to go, with the overall goal, of course, being college football playoff berth, national championship run, eventually get Deion Sanders that first national championship, right? We need some more blue chip guys. Haba Bacon saying, I think David Connor's gone. So Peter was saying earlier that he was gone as well. So looking like he's gone. That sucks. We're extremely light at tackle. Right now we have Phillip Houston, who is kind of a smaller, undersized left tackle. We got Jordan Seaton, and we got Khalil Benson and Savion Washington. Now, I think those guys, I think that room can be good, but it's going to be very, very thin. Slusher, Cam took his job. Dude got surgery. Slusher beat Cam out during. I don't care about Cam. I care the fact that Camrom Silmon-Craig was forcing turnovers, forced the most turnovers on the team. Right, that guy needs to be on the field until we see him getting beat. That guy has got a nose for the football. But in my starting projections, I did have Slusher in that starting star position over Preston Hodge, which was a flip that I made. So y'all don't say that I'm not believing in Miles Slusher. I've kind of changed up my opinion on that a little bit. I would like to see them both on the field quite a bit. Play Slusher at that star hybrid linebacker. Okay. But if Kennedy hits the portal, that's okay. Especially with Keaton Wade playing some inside. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not freaking out about that. Loadholt said on the well off the room is done. I think we bring in 2 more guys. Well, then it's not done. Hopefully that left tackle from SMU. Well, yeah. Yeah, hopefully it's not done then. It can't be. It can't be. We can't go in to a season with 4 tackles, 2 of which do not have the ability to play left tackle at all, and 1 that is probably an undersized left tackle, and then the other one being a true freshman left tackle. I don't care what he's rated as. You don't. We need more. We need a vet. We need a guy that at least can do the job decently. Loadholt did not say that. Thank you, Byron. Or thank you, Dev. He said the room is getting light. Well, then it sounds like we're all on the same page, everybody. You know what I'm saying? But Phil, all my guys will know their assignments. Loadholt is going to get this unit in order, communicating. Again, guys, like it. I don't care that we don't have a bunch of first and second round NFL draft picks on this line right now. I think the only guy that people are projecting, and I would assume this as well, like this is the expectation with a 5-star plus, Jordan Seaton projects as a first round draft pick. I don't think any of these guys, are probably day 1 or day 2 guys in the NFL. But that's not to say they can't play very, very well together as a unit, that their sum is much greater than what they are individually. Okay. The key is communication. The key is to know each other, to understand your assignments. And the issue, again, with what we've looked at with some of this tape, man, taking a look at Oregon, taking a look at UCLA, looking at Nebraska tape, right? With the little film study I've done, there are clear scenarios where the tackle and the guards are doing 2 different things, that they're not even on the same page. And that probably led, again, this is just me speaking right now, but this probably led to half of those pressures or sacks, right? That miscommunication. So if our line last year could just communicate properly, I think that that offense definitely looks better. Shedeur definitely isn't hit as much as he's hit. Now we're actually adding some serious size to the interior. And if we're able to communicate better, guys, we can take like a 70 place jump in where our offensive line is ranked in the FBS football rankings. Now that would be extremely substantial, but it's possible, man. I think it's possible. Can we go from 130th to 60th? I mean, that's my hope. That's my hope, right? And running the ball a little bit more effectively, it's going to help that. Okay. It's going to help that. Thank you guys coming in here correcting. He said the room is looking light, but the room isn't close to being done. Lovely. Lovely. Let's bring in some more guys. And hopefully we bring in some more defensive tackles as well. I feel like we're fine at the edge, the defensive ends, but we just need a little bit more beef up front, right? We don't have any of those 350-pound guys. We don't have a Murphy or a Sweat from Texas to throw in on that line right now. Okay. So, but guys, again, I do want to get this point across that on the interior, on both sides of the ball, we are making an improvement, and I think a significant one. Just sometimes where I just can't get it behind you is saying that this, we're going to have the best offense and the best defense in the Big 12. I don't know about that. The Big 12, they're definitely going to target our interior right now if there is no improvement there in the defensive front. These teams play smash mouth football. They run the ball really well. Again, a lot of these top teams, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, these are teams that will just run it up the gut, okay? Oklahoma State could have a 2,000-yard rusher this year. All right. like that is definitely going to be a target. And I think sometimes, guys, we are underestimating a little bit that a lot of these Big 12 teams, especially those schools that I just named, often they play better together as a unit than what the sum of their parts are. Similar to Utah. They don't have all these flashy names, okay? They don't have a bunch of blue chip, prospects, blue chip recruits, which is why they're never in the national championship conversation. But they're always given a substantial chance to be in there towards the top of the conference, competing for a conference championship every year because they develop talent, they play the right way, and they have really tough guys, and they play in really tough home environments. That's going to be another big shift for Colorado going into this conference, is that these home environments, they are real. They are a real advantage. Y'all saw how we played against Oregon. That was rough. There's home environments are going to feel more like that in this conference than they will, Wazoo playing in front of like 30,000 people. Okay. And that, like, there is a real home field advantage in this conference, which is why I just can't get behind the undefeated, the 10-2 floor to this. Like, I think, guys, if you're saying that this team at worst case is 10-2, you don't know this conference. I think we can be up there. I think we can be up there competing for a conference championship. But to say that it's likely that we run the table with these teams, or 10-2, that's saying, like, at worst case, you're the second seed in that conference championship game. I feel like that's bulletin board material for this conference, man. And they don't need any more than that. We don't need to give them any more than that. We're already giving them, tons of ammunition just being who we are, being Colorado, right? These are tough teams, and they will play you tough. There's a reason why Texas, even though they were stacked with a bunch of blue chip guys, they have a good coaching staff, great quarterback, great line play on both sides of the ball, why they struggled with some of these teams that you guys would see us just walking over this next year. That is not the case. I'm at like 9 wins because I'm an optimist. That's just how I am. I'll give us a coin toss on this, but I think realistically we'll probably finish around, 8 wins or so. Yeah, give or take. Not to say that 10-2 can't happen. I'm just saying it's not the most. I'm just saying it's not fact, man. Like right now, with where the roster's at, I can't say that this is a college football playoff team no matter what. This conference is hard. They are tough. They play football the right way, and they will expose us in the interior of our defense if we are not prepared and if we don't get more talent in there. No doubt. Man, you thought Arizona was smash mouth running that ball? Man, just wait till we meet Kansas or Oklahoma State, right? Now, Byron coming in here. I disagree. I think that, obviously a team like Oregon is really, really good. I don't think that there's a team like Oregon in this conference, but I think overall, the overall quality of the teams are better than what we saw in the Pac-12. And guys, we face every single ranked team from the conference last year. And I think it's funny because we've improved, but it's like we look at these schools like, none of them improved. I think you're going to see a better TCU this year. Okay. Now, do I think you'll see a better Cincinnati or Baylor? But I know for damn sure you're going to see a better UCF. Gus Malzahn's going to have that team in a good place. So, again, we do play Arizona. They still have, they're missing Jonah Coleman, but we'll see who else they add. This is Utah. We play Utah, OSU, Kansas State. We play all those guys. Arizona, UCF. We by far, Texas Tech on the road. Guys, these environments are so difficult that a team like Oregon had difficulty against Texas Tech. Their home field advantages are real in this conference. Okay. It is hard to win on the road here. That's why you've rarely seen even a school like Texas or Oklahoma a lot of these years run the table in the conference. Yeah, like this is not Arizona State. This is not Arizona State. But Brian, you bring up a great point here. If our spring portal class is as good as the winter class, we just might win the conference. And I'll agree with you there, man. I will agree with you there, because if we're just focusing on two position groups, the offensive line and the defensive line, and we're bringing in high quality players like that, no doubt we have a chance. Right now, we're still a little thin to where I can't get on that yet. And yeah, sometimes guys, I know, again, Coach Prime and every coach is going to come out and say that they expect to win every game and that they should. That is totally true. But like sometimes, man, I feel like it's unfair with what we're putting on these kids sometimes, man. Because it just doesn't allow them to exceed expectations for once, right? And even the conference last year, the Pac-12, yes, it was rare. Let me get my power cable real quick. Ah, shit. How about Bacon coming up? We need to bring in more redshirt freshmen and sophomores. Too top heavy with the seniors. That's why right now 25 is definitely looking like a transition year. Right now, I counted wrong because I forgot shedeur is a senior, not a junior. I always group him and Travis Hunter together for some reason. Right now, we're going to lose at least 31 guys after this next year, okay, with their eligibility expiring and Travis Hunter going to the NFL, okay? That's at least. We brought in, 7 freshmen right now? Of course, I understand the strategy because Prime needs to win this year. No doubt. This is the year of expectation. We need a winning record, no doubt. That's what's really going to help this thing continue to build, is getting a winning record with this year, showing results, showing the proof of concept, okay, this year. And that's what's, I think, going to lead towards this team getting better for the long haul. But I kind of see it from the standpoint of there's a few things going on. One, you can't take any chances on not making sure that you don't have as much veteran presence as possible, because you need a winning record this year, right? And then two, what's also going to be very good for recruiting is making sure that Travis and shedeur are drafted as high as they can. And that's going to be done playing with guys who have been in college for a few years, right? I know that's not the most advantageous strategy for the long term, but I feel like it's what needs to be done right now to maximize what we have. That's right. 7-5 is a winning record. Yes. And that's why I told Adam Munster Tiger on his show a couple weeks ago. I think the floor for this team is another 3-game improvement. We went from 1-4, one win to 4 wins. Now we'll go at least from 4 wins to 7 wins. And I think the coaching will be better. I think the game management will be better. The one thing that I still am a little unsure about is just our discipline, guys. Like if we didn't lead the nation in penalties, we were right there. This was an undisciplined football team this past year, and that has to be something that we clean up. We have to be smarter. We have to be more disciplined and composed. No, shutting this down. Cormani's on the team. A lot of these fake journalist insiders feel like they hear something third hand from somebody's cousin or aunt or friend, whatever. Guys, just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Just like you guys are doing with the rest of the team. I don't understand the obsession that you guys have with monitoring his status on a day-to-day standpoint. It is odd. I would encourage anybody that's doing that to seek psychiatric help. please. But just like we're not freaking out if we don't see anybody else in a video today, we need to stop. Give the kid a chance to breathe and to live his life. Damn. Like, it is the most toxic thing out of this fan base right now, is that there's a portion of this fan base that is obsessive compulsive over him. Stop it. And guys, when you see this, call it out. Okay, please let this man live his life and develop. Just like any other player, we'll wait to hear official news. If just like the 5 to 10 players that are going to leave after the spring practice or after the spring practice portion, there's going to be guys that enter the portal. We're not speculating every day about who those guys are going to be. We're letting all these other players be themselves to go through every single day. We're not monitoring their Instagram like stalkers. We're not DMing each other about, well, hey, my sources tell me this, my sources tell me that. Y'all get a life. Like, it really does piss me the hell off that there are people doing this to just a kid. Why is there an obsession over him? I don't see you guys doing that with any other young player on the team. What the hell is your problem? Yeah. So, guys, I don't want to see another comment in here about Cormani. Only if it's a joke. But guys, like, it is weird and it is odd. You don't need psychiatric help for boredom. I think spring practice is enough to talk about, but some want controversy. Yeah, some want drama. And I think, honestly, like, some people just want to stir up shit to see if, like, some dumbass YouTuber like myself is going to start thinking that they're an insider or some shit. Like, and I think that's the biggest case. When I was talking to these Twitter weirdos or whatever, they're I'm asking, well, who's your source? And then they're getting all mad at me. They're like, well, journalism 101, you don't share your source. And I was like, okay, well, just let your source know I think they're full of shit. And then they're like, you're just mad that I know more about what's going on. I don't care, guys. Like, I don't care. I've never applied for a press credential. I never want to be a journalist. I want to get on here and talk with you guys. Like, I don't know why people think that anybody who's on here talking just automatically wants to be some insider. I don't have sources. I could go ahead and, text Adam every day about the status of Cormani, but that's bullshit. And I respect him way too much as a person than to just be blowing up his phone with these ridiculous questions. Y'all just let this young man live his life, okay? Y'all are weird. Leave him alone. It's almost like a sick way of cyberbullying, That's right, S. McDade. They want Cormani to not do well. They are all evil-minded. Absolutely. There's some sick people on the internet that got nothing better to do than to hide under aliases, hide under just lies about saying who they are. And again, nothing pisses me off more than people lying, saying that there's some news sleuth, some journalist that, bro, you got 128 followers. And this isn't how journalists, real insiders behave, man. It is odd. Larry Lightfoot. What? We cannot get these two guys the hazmat trophies. We have to see how this season's going to play out because I've seen that quarterback hold the ball too long. We cannot get these guys the what is Larry Lightfoot? What does that mean? This is going to upset you, Larry Lightfoot. Awards fucking matter, man. They absolutely do. I want to see CU have their second Heisman winner in their school history. Absolutely. That is rooted in substance. Some people might not agree, but I sure as hell do. What sort of Heisman ever wasn't rooted in substance? Get Travis or shedeur the Heisman. I think they got to reach 9 wins in order to get a Heisman. I think maybe Travis, if he stays healthy, depending on what his production is, he could be in that finalist conversation, even if we're at 8 wins. But we got to win. We got to get them drafted top 10 at worst. That's how I see this thing. And we need both Travis and shedeur to improve. And that's why you saw us go after, get a lot more veteran talent, get guys that have already played at the Power 4 level. And because they do need to improve. Travis needs to improve in his game. Shedeur, we totally saw that he needs to improve in his pocket presence this year. That's totally going to happen. And as well as playing, again, Larry, if you take a look at the offense that Sean Lewis was calling, so many of those plays, they had guys all running 10 plus yards deep. There was no hot read. There was no outlet for him to check down. The offense was constructed in a way that did not help him at all getting rid of the ball early. They went away from that stuff very quickly after they started to face some pressure, oddly. There were so many weird things regarding how that offense last year was constructed. And again, when you have a lot of those guys running a large choice route tree, many of them were all just running deep, so there was no layering to how they were layering these routes, making sure that shedeur had a hot read, that he had an outlet, that he had a check down in a lot of these situations, and put that in a pairing with, you have a very poor interior. So after a while, you lose confidence to step up in the pocket. Then you start drifting into where the edge rushers are rushing around the tackles. You're kind of drifting more into sacks because you lose confidence in being able to trust your lineman to step up. That's totally normal. But to put it all on the offensive line, to put it all on shedeur, no. Coaching had a huge portion of creating those results last year. Like I said, Bill, none of my guys know their assignments. O'Boyle, combined with what Sean Lewis was wanting to call, combined with and the inferior talent level on the offensive line, that's what led to one of the most sacked quarterbacks like in our school history, right? If not the most. And you hope, my hope, and I think this is right, Coach Primes understood that he needed to oversee a change. You saw him interview Phil Loadholt personally. That's something he didn't do with Bill O'Boyle last year. You saw him bring in a guy with pro-style knowledge and promoting from an analyst staff, being Pat Shermer. We are going to get a certain level of continuity, okay? A certain level of not continuity, competency. That's what I meant to say. Certain level of competency from how the offense is constructed. Okay. You're going to have layered routes. You're going to have hot reads and checkdowns that weren't in this offense this past year for a large majority of it. Okay. And you're going to get a better offensive line. Shedeur is going to have better confidence in his line to be able to step up in the pocket, and he's going to have a cleaner pocket way more often. You combine that also with the fact that we'll be running more effectively and hopefully a little bit more often in different sets. In Utah, we saw Pat Shermer not only run sets in shotgun, but also directly under center and in pistol. This is something that I feel like is really going to serve shedeur well and the running game well. So I don't know if you were necessarily trying to do this, but I did want to dispel that shedeur just holds the ball too long. It is way more complex of an issue than just saying he struggles with that. We'll see him improve. But I will continue to say awards matter, baby. Some people think that that's all for clicks and giggles and stuff like that. Nah, man. I believe in awards, baby. I believe in awards. I want to see these guys win awards because if we're winning games, those guys are going to win awards. Those things are going to come if we win games. Okay. Shedeur, Travis weren't winning the Heisman on a 4-win team last year. No matter if Shedeur threw for 5,000 yards, he wasn't going to be a Heisman finalist on a 4-win team. You have to win. Again, a guy like Travis could be a little bit more of an exception, but you still have to be on a winning team. They're never going to award the Heisman to a guy that was on a losing team because it's like, how much did you actually impact winning? Now, I will say, I think you can make an argument that Shedeur is worth at least 4 wins on his own because I don't see us winning one of those 4 games at all last year without Shedeur under center, right? So right now, if we're talking about 10, 11, 12 wins, right, in the regular season, do you see the rest of this team as a 6-win roster? Can they win 6 games without Shedeur? Now, I know that there's a lot of holes in this. I understand. But just think about this, okay? Just look at it simply. Right now, we need a little bit more around them to be able to say that that's our base. That's our worst case scenario is a double-digit win season. And some might say that that's a loser mentality, and I think it's a total you're ignoring the total history of really how hard it is to win here, and you're discrediting the work that's being done here, the foundation, how significant of a foundation is being laid, because we have had to scratch and claw for every win we've had here over the last 15 years. And for you to say, or not you specifically, Larry, just I've seen some people say that having any sort of expectation or being satisfied with anything less than 10 to 12 wins is a loser mentality. That is full of shit, man. That is full of shit. You don't appreciate how dead and how undesirable this program was prior to Coach Prime coming here. You don't understand. Man, I think Coach Sal is still dealing with some health things. I don't think maybe he had surgery or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But I do wonder with Damian Lewis kind of stepping up into that defensive line coach role, if he might retire. And Meach, I'm really hoping we see much less RPO because, yeah, it was clear it wasn't working. It didn't work at all. Let's get him in some traditional play action. Okay. Let's have him run a little bit more pro style because he's not going to run any RPO in the pros. And I don't think that he's a good RPO quarterback. I think we saw that after. I didn't really think about it or initially think that with like watching the games live, but after the season, going back and watching a lot of the games, it is just clear that it was just not working. It was not the right fit. And again, it's like Patty Mahomes, he might run it every blue moon like he did in the Super Bowl, right? Catching the defense off guard, just like Peyton Manning would run a naked bootleg once every 5 years, right? Yeah, that type of thing. But I don't think that needs to be like 5% of the offense. We need, like you said in the second half of the comment right now, way more play fakes. Absolutely right. Not going to say Jimmy's nickname. I want Jimmy to know that I like him. But I definitely start Wester over Jimmy Horn. But I hope Jimmy doesn't go down lightly. I think we're going to see a better Jimmy Horn this year. Nah, man, we can't start putting that Anthony Davis curse on him. We can't do that. 12 days till the end of the month. Where's Sab? I don't know. Ask one of these Twitter insiders, man. I got no idea. And honestly, I don't care. Dizza, at least a bowl game should be the bare minimum, though. I'm hoping for better. Yes. Who has more wins this year? The Buffs or the Iowa Hawkeyes? You're an Iowa guy, right? I'm not sure what their schedule is, but you let me know. Yeah, let's see a little bit more under center. This is a conference in which we should play a little bit more of that style, baby. Yeah, shedeur will scramble, but he's not a dual threat exactly. Much like guys like Spencer Rattler. You know, he's a guy that can make some plays with his legs, but he's not going to be doing anything that Josh Allen's doing or Jane Daniels, where you're going to have Jane Daniels run some straight up running plays, man. But our running game is going to look better. We got guys who are like 40 pounds heavier than the guys that we had at the guard position last year. So, still a little bit of a question mark with center. Okay. Guys, remember the only guy with power 4 starting experience is our sophomore, true freshman last year, Hank Zielinskis. Let's not forget that. That's why I wish Van Wells had stuck around. I understand why he didn't, but it would have been nice to have him part of this competition. Tyler Brown, Yakiri Walker, Van Wells, Hank Zielinskis. Because I think that Savion, and I thought Savion was our best offensive lineman last year. Then I would go with Van Wells, and it was a clear drop off, after that. I mean, clear. And I'm not saying either of those guys were great, but they were good. They were good. They were fine. Okay. I thought that they were fine. And I thought Van Wells would have taken another jump this year. But I thought that Hank, he looked terrible against CSU, but that was really tough. And again, I don't think Bill, none of my guys know their assignments. O'Boyle did him any favors. Jack Bailey played center for Kent State against Alabama or Georgia the year prior. Why didn't you just kick him into center? But to throw an 18-year-old kid out there, third game of the year, but looked much better against Utah, looked much stronger against Utah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, Spencer Rattler wasn't as bad as you think. I think he's gonna be in the NFL a lot longer than some of these guys, have been. All right, you got Iowa 10 wins without an offense last year. Besides Hawkeyes make a bowl every year. They do. Do they play anybody on the West Coast coming from the Pac? I don't think Van Wells was terrible. I think BB and Tank and Bailey, those guys were terrible. I thought Van Wells was meh. And I thought Savion Washington was good. That's my tier list. He can sit behind Mahomes. That's what they should do. But Spencer Rattler, if all goes wrong with the Broncos in their draft, do the Texans plan where you draft a quarterback in the 3rd round, Davis Mills, and then they're just your tank commander for the next year. If Davis Mills hits, he's amazing. Then you strut gold. You're already ahead of your rebuild. If not, he's probably bad enough to where you get a top 2 pick and can draft a CJ Stroud. That's why it's like, man, I wouldn't mind doing a Spencer Rattler tank commander scenario like that. But that's only if things go bad. I think we will be drafting a quarterback in the 1st round. Horn played better competition than Wester. That's very true. Wester is the new guy the fans love right now. But Peter, can you explain this one to me? So Lajohntay Wester had 1,100 yards, over 100 catches last year at the G5. Was all conference or something like that, right? 3-star transferring out over here. Jimmy Horn had a third of that production at USF his last year, but is a 4-star transfer in the transfer portal. Explain that one to me. I don't get it. But I do think Jimmy Horn was hurt in the second half of the season. It's crazy to hear that as Xavier Weaver was dealing with a torn labrum for most of the season. But tush push with Walter Taylor, I'm about it. Yeah, Cobra, I don't got any inside info with Des Moines Kennedy, but I think especially if Keaton Wade really is playing inside and Trevor Woods is going to be back, I mean, it doesn't look good for him, and he's always a guy that just has had trouble staying healthy. So I don't even know, like, if he remains on the team, if we can really depend on him to play many games for us. Man, we need some more Iowa tight ends, I'll tell you that. I mean, we had that walk-on last year, Yelverton, but I think he's done. He's done. So I'm glad we at least got this Ohio State guy coming in, and hopefully he can just block. I mean, and if he can catch a few passes for us, that's great. But please, let's not have our line just absolutely terrible this year. It's 3rd and 2. What's CU doing this year, Dave? You know what I'd love to see? An I formation, baby. Let's throw this thing back in the past. I formation with Alton, baby. Wouldn't that be nice? Like, bring in a couple extra linemen, right? We don't have Bishop Thomas to be fullback, but maybe somebody like Sam Hart is our fullback in that type of set. But I would love to see the I formation. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be traveling a little bit tomorrow, so maybe I will get a video out in the morning. If not, maybe late evening tomorrow night. But always appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful evening. And y'all, remember, we're in much better hands with Phil. All my guys are going to know their assignments. Loadholt. Until next time, Sco Buffs.